So we are discussing from the book Are You Listening or Just Waiting to Speak by Jane Adsett Grant. Great leaders are proactive, strategic and intuitive listeners. They enjoy listening rather than seeing it as a chore that they have to do. They recognize that knowledge and wisdom are not gained by talking, but by listening. So reading this book has already shown you to be a great leader, because it says that you want to learn more about the importance of listening and how you can develop your own skills further. So there is a link also on briantracy.com and an article from his blog from the section on leadership success, motivating employees by using effective listening skills. Smart leaders know that there is far more to be gained by giving up the floor than by dominating the floor. One of the great challenges today is the speed at which we operate. Everyone seems to be in a rush to communicate what is on their mind, so much so that they miss out on the value of everything that can be gleaned from the thoughts of others. To be a great leader, you need to be a great communicator, and to be a great communicator, you need to be a great listener. So usually, a good communicator is considered to be one who speaks well, but to receive communication effectively, one needs to be an effective listener. Good listening skills also benefit us in our private life, having a deeper personal network, improving our confidence and self-esteem. We achieve more in our studies with higher grades and in our work with better results. Good listening also improves our health and general well-being. Research has shown that speaking raises our blood pressure, as you may have experienced for yourself, but listening brings it down. Being a good listener requires heart and empathy. It requires a genuine desire to connect with the person as one human being to another. It's about building a relationship, and there is no more powerful way to do this than with a genuine desire and effort to truly listen, to intuitively understand where others are coming from and what they are leaving unsaid. When this happens, it creates a strong bond that develops trust and respect for one another. We all value some friends over others due to the way how they interact with us and demonstrate how they value us. Listening is not the same as hearing. Hearing refers to the sounds you perceive with earshot. It could be the gentle ticking of a clock in the background, or it could be the noise of others in the room. Listening is an active pursuit. It requires focus and effort. Listening is about paying attention to what is being said, how it is being said, and what is not being said through non-verbal body language. We spend a lot of time listening. Research suggests adults spend on average of 70% of their time engaged in some sort of communication. Of this, an average of 45% is spent listening compared to 30% speaking, 16% reading, and 9% writing. Of the 4 time spent listening, a person recalls 50% of what they have just heard, and only 20% is remembered long term. Listening is the psychological process of receiving, attending to, understanding, and responding to the spoken or non-verbal messages we receive. Hearing, on the other hand, is a physiological process. 85% of what we know is from listening. Listening is critical to both our personal and business life because it, 1, helps others think well for themselves. When you pay attention to another and listen with curiosity to what they will say next, that person will be empowered and begin to think better as a result. 2, allows for clarity, creativity, and confidence to emerge. 3, makes others feel valued and respected. 4, facilitates a more solution-focused rather than problem-focused approach. Listening and waiting to see someone's potential will help them generate a solution rather than dwelling on the problem. 5, promotes greater accountability in others. When you listen to another by letting them know that their thinking matters, they will feel empowered, take on more responsibility, and develop more self-belief. 6, unlocks the potential in others when you silently ask the question, where might you go next with your thinking? What more can you achieve? 7, listening is the most powerful form of acknowledgement. It is a way of saying you matter. Nancy Klein, pioneer of the thinking environment, has developed 2 types of listening: a listening to reply and a listening to ignite. Listening to reply is where we listen just long enough to take in what the other person is saying in order to form a response, make a diagnosis, a judgment, or consider. Essentially, we wait until the other person has finished, or we may even interrupt and offer our reply. In contrast, listening to ignite is where we offer our attention, keeping our eyes on the eyes of the speaker, not a glare, rather a soft gaze, and encouraging the speaker to continue. When listening to ignite, we listen without interrupting. We offer a sense of ease, free from rubber and equality, which suggests that we both have the capacity to think well, even though our thoughts may be different. Experience, it is when we listen to ignite the mind, one of the greatest gifts we as human beings offer one another. As a leader, you may assume that you need to have all the answers, or at least the majority of answers. After all, your team looks to you to provide them with direction and create a culture for them to perform well and achieve success. Believing we have to have the answers can be dangerous because it limits a generation of independent thinking for others to think well for themselves. When you consider your capacity to listen as one of your most valuable skills, you will naturally be in a state of curiosity, curious about your team members' or clients' thoughts. When you are curious, you develop further your ability to ask great questions, questions that will help others to form their ideas, gain clarity, understand what is getting in the way of what they want, and achieve breakthroughs.